Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning in to the day's energies, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. All right, what's the overall... All right, Tower. Hidden, what's the outcome and advice? Such a dramatic picture, too. Outcome and advice. Thank you. So a bunch came out. I'll take it. All right. Make some space here. Okay, the overall energy of today's reading is the Tower. Boy, what a image, huh? All right, Tower is a false reality collapsing. It's happening for the people. There's only one person here that's falling from the Tower. The lightning strikes the Tower at its crown, and the false reality collapses. The original story is that the two people that are falling from the tower built the tower around them brick by brick, creating a false reality, keeping them separate from reality. So a false reality is collapsing. All right, Six of Swords, Death card, Nine of Wands. False realities collapsing. There's a need to move to calmer waters, calmer shores, to get out of the choppy water. Death card, a definite ending. Something is definitely ending with this false reality collapsing. Nine of Wands, an exhaustion, protecting oneself, a need to stay protected. All right, so who's this happening to, for? Whose tower is this? Who's falling out of the tower? Justice reverse, Queen of Cups. The false reality that created an injustice for a Queen of Cups. This feels like someone who's authentic, someone who's heart-based, who's themselves. I'm getting that there's an injustice created, that viewer this tower feels like whatever injustices that were created against this Queen of Cups are crumbling down. A false reality that made it okay for the injustices. I get the feeling, viewer, that you had to leave some environment, a definite ending, where you had to protect yourself. It feels like flee and protect yourself around an ending. It feels like around this time that I'm tuned into, there were injustices created, and there's some reality, false reality, that someone concocted, created a separate reality, a false reality, that this behavior was okay. This injustice that was created against you Okay. So who, it might be a person or someone representing who's in the tower specifically, who's falling from the towers. Six of Cups reversed. Family. It feels like there's family wounds here. Unhealed family wounds. That's weird. Hurt, pain. It feels like who in the family? Why is the Six of Cups in reverse here? There we go. Two of Cups reversed, Judgment reversed. There's some type of family wounding here. There's some breakup where someone was very critical of you. Very judgmental. Didn't want you to be able to do what you did, which is move to calmer waters around an ending. Maybe it was an end of a relationship. And you're very vulnerable around this ending. And someone took advantage of your vulnerability to create injustices for you. They might have had help from toxic family members or took advantage of your unhealed childhood wounds, or both. All right, so feels like Judgment and Justice both in reverse. What happens with this tower? Why is the tower happening now? What? Four of Pentacles reverse. World card. King of Swords reverse. You let go of an environment, a relationship, something that you were clinging on to, thinking this is as good as it gets. And it looks like you let go of that environment, moved on to calmer grounds. There's a definite ending of a relationship. It feels kind of in the past. And that you leaving this person, this environment, was the best thing. You've had expansion since you've left. You've been able to leave a toxic cycle of someone who's manipulating the story. King of Swords in reverse. King of Swords upright, communication, cutting ties with what doesn't work. King of Swords in reverse is someone, for me, mentally manipulative. Manipulating a story, a narrative about you. That's what this sounds like. Purposely around an ending to create an injustice for a sweetheart. By a lot of criticism. Creating injustices and criticism. All right, so why is the tower... I just asked that. Why the tower's happening now? And it's because you let go and had a glow up, expansion, world card, left a toxic cycle, and it feels like you weren't supposed to, you couldn't, or some narrative told about you around an ending, and there's something about how you're showing up that doesn't fit the narrative. So how's the viewer showing up? How about a little pithier? How's the viewer showing up? That was half the deck. How's the viewer showing up that's exposing? That's a lot of cards. Okay, and they're all coming out as a challenge. You had to leave a system. It feels like you worked on it for a long time. You had to leave something that you built or were co-creating with others You might also have had some financial difficulty leaving this environment. It looks like you had to get out of a comfort zone, face your fears. It feels like you're very stuck before you decide to leave because finances, because of fears. Ooh, okay. With the Ten of Swords following up the Nine of Swords, you were stuck in a comfort zone, but this person's betrayal and narrative feels like kind of put the last nail in the coffin, created a you can't come back from this, a definite ending. Overkill. I get the feeling that this person told a lot of lies. Is this your ex? Boy, they're making you pay for ending the relationship. This is someone who needs to be perceived as winning, good, better than you by poo-pooing you. This is a very immature person too. They've got a win or lose mindset. And it feels like they created injustices for you. And then at the end of the relationship, when it's definitely over, so critical of you. It feels like to everyone who would listen. So I get the feeling that you kind of left. Whew, this is tough. It also feels like at the time that this happened that you didn't have resources of your own. There's an exhaustion that you have and an inability to go after what you desire. It's all the odds are against you in this scenario. I think that's why this person, the King of Swords in reverse, came so hard for you, because you were vulnerable. If this was a relationship, Two of Cups in reverse, a breakup, God, I would never want to ever break up with this person because they just make it so, they've got to make you out to be a villain. I get the feeling that they're making you out to be whatever the issue because to hide their own injustices inside the relationship. And so if they make you out to be the problem, hearing the crazy word or whatever, then nobody will believe the injustices that occurred inside the relationship. Wow. All right. In what's hidden, we have the Three of Cups and the Hierophant in reverse. Hierophant in reverse for me is a broken contract. In what's hidden, we've got Three of Cups, a celebration, a party. Some group is celebrating broken contract. It broke of a marriage. For some of you, this is the end of a marriage contract. What's the broken contract? It feels like in what's hidden, people are... Oh, I don't like this at all. You feel very isolated, alone. Feels like you have gone through a lot of injustices in this relationship, only to have it end in more injustices and criticism, incredible criticism of you. All right, the Hierophant reversed, clarifying the broken contract. We have House and the Good Lord. Feels like there's an issue around the house, maybe sale of the house, wanting the house. And this person is positioning themselves as good, upstanding, by decimating you, by you're the fault, you're the problem. It's a tactic. Feels like after a marriage, after a relationship, this person wants it all, doesn't want you to move on, wants to blame you, wants to be perceived as upstanding. So who's the Three of Cups? Why is the Three of Cups in what's hidden? Star card, Eight of Cups reverse, Knight of Swords. But it feels like in this Three of Cups, it feels like it's a group around X, whoever this is, who's falling from a tower, a false reality that they created by the narrative, the negative things that they said to hide their own injustices. So when the ending happens, they've already have a narrative about you. And so whatever you say to others about who this person that you were in a relationship with, they're ready for it's like they've been prompted. Wow. Toxic. And I'm getting there's this group, the people who are in agreement with this story. And it's like a plan in what's hidden to make your ex look good, look like the good Lord, and have the house, have the proceeds, be able to keep the house, something around the house. But with the Eight of Cups in reverse and Knight of Swords, there's some emotional attachments that they can't walk away from. The emotional attachments, it's some type of rushing to a conclusion, rushing to a story, rushing. It feels like this person could have had a very upstanding, look good, but they can't, it's like they can't let go of this negative story, positioning themselves as the good guy, you as the bad guy. Tell me about this story. Hierophant reverse, again, coming out in what's hidden as a challenge to this energy. Yeah, because they wanted to break a contract, break the vows, break the marriage contract. But they were challenged by, there's something the way this person, your ex, is operating that's not upstanding. They want to end the relationship. It feels like they want to party. They want to have fun. They want, and they need to be perceived as the good guy. And so they create this story about you so they can look good to others. Ooh, Empress reversed. A mother wound. All right. Who is in this Empress reversed energy? Eight of Swords in reverse. Someone who can see clearly. Someone who's insecure. Strength reverse. Okay, so I'm getting an ex kind of vibe. And I'm also getting a toxic feminine, toxic like mother energy. This could be someone older who's insecure. About this ending. They're insecure about their position. Okay. I don't know if this is, I haven't gotten any affair partner type of energy, but there's a toxic feminine energy that's very insecure in what's hidden. And it feels like the story that your ex has to say about you, the negative stuff, makes this very insecure feminine energy feel a lot better. That you're horrible. That you're... So there's quite a story. A couple different stories. One story that they're telling kind of everybody else to make them look good. And then another story to a toxic feminine energy who's insecure about her, I'm just going to say her because Empress reversed, her position. And so this feels like someone waiting in the wings, someone who is interested in your person. Very immature. Now the Three of Cups is in reverse. A toxic party group, immature, emotionally stunted, and needing constant reassurance of like stories of habit. So if there is an affair partner, if there was a third party, this is not where you're going to find, I knew it. I'm not here to feed anyone's delusions. This is for somebody who knows that there was interfering third party. It feels like this third party was to make them feel better and secure about their position, that they're going to replace you is kind of what it feels like. Then they do need a story. Then they need to make you the problem so they can end the relationship because of you, not because there's someone else waiting in the wings. There we go. And this very insecure person who wants to take your place, it just feeds off of all the negative stories about you. Because then the treatment of you is justified, right? This is someone incredibly insecure, immature, overindulgent, they're in a toxic group as well. And while you're breaking up and having to go to calmer waters and protect yourself against all of this story, your ex is proving their loyalty to a third party by making it exceptionally painful for you. How you were abandoned, how toxic you are, you're the problem. And it feels like there's no communication. It feels like, oh. So really, this is someone who fabricated a huge story about you being a problem, even though you are the one who lived through the injustices of this relationship. So when someone else came in, a third party, a plan was hatched to make your ex look good and upstanding And whoever was waiting to take your place, needing to constant story after story. Where'd they come up with all those negative stories if they weren't true? They were telling on themselves. Fabricating, exaggerating. All right. In the outcome and advice, we have a bunch here. Death card reversed. Queen of Swords. Two of Pentacles. Justice. Oh, yeah. Fool card. Page of Wands reversed. All right. Let's make some space here. So Death reversed. Death card came out in the overall energy when we were talking about the end of this relationship. It is Death card is an ending. It feels definitely over. Your ex was purposefully trying to create a story that would make them look good, that would make the ending of this relationship be acceptable, that by sacrificing you, though. Boy. Okay. Death reversed. Why is the Death card reversed? Unending? Something's not ending. Something isn't over. Magician. Something isn't over because someone doesn't want it to be over with the Magician card. Someone wanted it to keep going. With the Queen of Swords, it feels like where there's been fog of confusion, there's now clarity. It feels like you're seeing this. It feels like there are other people in the environment that are seeing this tower fall. The tower for me is in what's hidden. The whole hidden story and need to replace you. Instead of someone just ending a relationship and going for who they prefer, because that happens all the time, right? Instead, this person concocts a story so they look good. So they get the financial, they get the house, so they look upstanding. And it feels like the stories are a bit different depending on who they're talking to. The third party is getting a whop danger of stories because they're really insecure and need constant reassurance of how awful you are. So there's all these stories. Also, the third party's feeling insecure. They don't want to be a home wrecker type of energy. And so they feel very validated that you're the bad person because they've been manipulated by this, by your ex. All right. Why is the Queen of Swords? Let me get a new deck. Why is the Queen of Swords? It looks like with Three of Wands, you've been focusing on you, on your new life, on your expansion. Why is the Death reversed? Who's in this Magician energy? Who's trying to keep something going is kind of what it feels like. Someone who doesn't want things to end. That want to resurrect something that's dead, done, and over. Challenge. Four of Wands. Coming out as a challenge to this energy. Someone... Okay. This could be this King of Swords in reverse. Your ex. I'm just calling it ex because it's so much easier. They're challenged by your moving on and having joy. Not overcoming, it feels like you've overcome the obstacles and they're challenged by you moving on, you finding new things to be interested in, new joy. Are they having to watch you from a distance, riding your white horse naked under a full moon? Are you having that much fun? I think they started believing their own lies and deception about you. I get the feeling they didn't really want this to end. They wanted the wedding, some contract with you to end, but they like having control, manifesting in your energy. I get the feeling that even though all the cruelty and the ending, that this person still wants to manifest in or manifest with your energy. This is just Emperor reverse, someone very controlling, wildly controlling, someone who doesn't know boundaries, someone who doesn't understand endings. Feels like this person could also have a tower because you're gone. It looks like you, 4 of Wands, 3 of Wands, you're going after, taking action with the new discernment that you have. Not interested in this person at all. I get the feeling that you're utilizing this opportunity of this ending to just really leave. All right, 2 of Pentacles, a choice, a decision, juggling, justice, the Fool, Page of Wands reverse. Okay, 2 of Pentacles is a choice, decision. Oftentimes could be seen as someone juggling, masking. Ooh, Page of Wands upright. This feels like your ex's energy, that they juggle people. They tell people what they want to hear. They pretend, it feels like they juggled you as well. This is a very masked person. Not above lies and deception. With the Page of Wands, this also feels like a very immature person. They want what they want. I want what I want. I want what I want. They feel wildly immature. They couldn't just go after her and make that decision to end the marriage, end the relationship, go after what they want. Happens every day. But instead, this whole drama behind the scenes, hidden away, to make them look good. This is someone just so concerned with the optics, so concerned with their ego, with how they're being perceived. Why is justice here? Balance thinking, Libra energy. Why is justice in the outcome and advice? That is so interesting. I'm going to show you how that card flew out and where it landed. It landed on the overall energy, the World card. The towers, the overall energy, and it landed right on top. The World card, ending a cycle. The last card of the major arcana. The first card is the Fool, 0. This is 21, the World, expansion. The justice is okay, wow. So to receive justice from this situation, being balanced in your thoughts, staying balanced, not going down a dark hole of they did this and blah, blah, but staying balanced on what you can take care of, what's there, not going down those dark holes of past, staying balanced. What can I say? I have not perceived, it has not been in my experience in this life, that justice is some energy outside of you that you want. You want punishment. You want people to pay. That might be more closely a vibration with this X, that needing for revenge, needing for someone else to hurt so you can feel better. What I have found about justice is if you want to receive justice, you have to embody justice. Be balanced in your thoughts. Be fair. Not need someone else to hurt for you to find justice. And what I'm getting here is the justice, the payback, if you're looking for payback, isn't that this person gets hurt or punished or somehow, hurt so you can feel better. Does that ever really help? Does seeing someone who has hurt you be destroyed, how is that really going to help you? Those thoughts of revenge and hurt kept me tied to toxic energies, keeps me still connected to those people, this type of energy. And I don't want to be connected with that type of energy. And so instead of needing someone else to pay so I could feel better and vindicated, I have embodied justice and focused on creating afterwards, on elevating myself, on loving myself, being fair, going forward, and leaving toxic systems. Also having huge expansive energy, connecting with people all over the world. Having a very beautiful and loving life. What a way to create justice by leaving this energy behind. Death card. Done. And expanding, growing, allowing yourself to understand, to utilize what you've learned from these experiences, this experience, and taking that, what you've learned, and going forward, creating your own happiness, creating your own justice by your expansion, outgrowing all the lessons, learning those lessons. Why I'm smiling and so happy, because it feels like you can't even, with this Justice and World card, it feels like you can't even hide the expansion. You don't have to go around and tell people what the truth was. You become a living example that everything that they said was not true about you. You become so big and so large and fair and balanced, have such a joyful experience. Create a version of yourself that you really love and a life that you love. And the further you heal from this, the more you can leave it behind and leave all the activities, like creating injustices for people. That feels like this toxic energy. Punishing, being cruel. And so if you need someone to be punished and treated cruelly for you to feel better, then maybe you're still got some of the toxic environment So forgiveness is a weird, it's important when it depends where you are on the spectrum, because if you have just experienced a breakup and are upset and moving on, it is important for you to identify that this person is not good, and your anger and frustration is important. If someone said you need to forgive this person when you're leaving this system, then that's not the right, it's not the right timing. Your anger, your frustration is valid, and it helps you, give you the energy to leave, to do the things that you need to do. And it is important when you come out of a toxic relationship like this, where you're probably very enmeshed, to have that separation, to say, this person sucks. I am no longer hanging out with this person. This is a very important step. So I'm not whitewashing or trying to make it, you just need to forgive them. That's not what I'm saying necessarily. I'm saying once you individuate, because you're finally are like, ooh, you suck. That is so good. It's important. It's a necessary step to continue to be like, oh, not this, not this. I'm not doing that anymore. That's bad. It's important. Your anger, your disgust, your frustration, your rage is important to separate from that person. I have just found that a lot of people, including myself, have tended to stay there in this position and never know how to heal and move it past, you suck. Now what? Now I've properly identified I don't want to play in that energy anymore with that person. But instead of constantly, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I've just noticed over years, you just are bitter and angry, and there's no resolution, and there's just, yeah. And so I'm curious, and I've been on the exploration of, now what? Now what do we do other than stay furious at who hurt you? What would be the next steps when it's appropriate? And that's when I've gotten to, by staying balanced in my thoughts, by figuring out my own stuff, my own healing, and by loving myself and nurturing myself. And eventually I got to a point where I started forgiving myself. I'm so sorry that I chose this person. I'm so sorry. So whenever those thoughts come up about this person, what they did, instead of going back over it in your mind again and bringing that trauma up into the present like it's just happened today, I would switch from that story to, I am so sorry. I know that was so painful. Like I'm talking to myself. But instead of going back over what they did and the harm that they caused and the hurt, I just apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I let this person hurt me. I'm so sorry that I kept picking and choosing someone who hurt me over choosing myself. I'm so sorry that I didn't know what I didn't know. I'm so sorry that I didn't see it. I'm so sorry that I was gullible. I'm so sorry that whatever comes up, I just started apologizing to myself. I'm sorry I didn't see it. I'm sorry I didn't know. I'm sorry I didn't leave earlier. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And mean it, and you can feel it. And when you start getting to that point, then you start healing from being so defensive and chronically looking for someone that's going to hurt you. And you start healing and figuring out how Venn diagram, how to relationship without enmeshing, how to just connect with people and give them their space. It's okay to be human. It's okay to make mistakes. And then you can take what you've learned. All this has an incredible potential for what you can get out of this experience. What have you learned on so many different levels? All right. Boy, 45-minute reading. So, Fool card, there's a new opportunity, a new leap of faith, and a new direction. Why is the Page of Wands here? Hermit reversed. I'm not getting what that is. Someone doesn't want to be alone? For some of you, you've only perceived yourself in partnership, in relationship to others. And so it is a challenge to decenter romantic relationships. This is for someone who, you can do whatever you want. You can keep centering romantic relationships. But what I'm getting here is, I remember feeling like I needed someone, I needed to be in a relationship right from a toxic relationship without giving any time to grow, to heal, to learn, so I can change who I am. So when I go into the next relationship, it's not right from diving back in. Same toxicity, different person. There's also here a resistance to meeting yourself in profound ways. This experience, it feels like, is an awakening for a lot of you who are listening, if you'll allow it. And awakening sounds lovely. Sounds like, oh, I'm awakening and I'm to spirit. Awakening for me was ego death and dark night of the soul, and it was anything but like, I had an awakening. It was like, oh my gosh. It's more like, wake up, wake up. And it just kept going and going, at least my awakening. But the thing is, by being devastated, by hitting rock bottom, it's a very powerful place to be. Because when you hit rock bottom, when you sink down and you hit the bottom of the water and you can feel the bottom on your feet, you can push up. When you decide it's time to push up, out, to start becoming who you prefer to be, then you choose from that position who you prefer to be. It's sad because you are having to say goodbye, death card, to an old version of yourself that's not going forward with you. The version of you that was taken advantage of by others. Whatever the lessons are, keep going in the new direction. Keep world building in the direction you prefer. All right, that's your reading. I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Take care.